even know what your TDEE is? Whew, it's a mouthful. Total Daily Energy Expenditure. So if you're trying to lose weight or gain muscle, this is one thing you absolutely need to achieve your fitness goals. So let's talk about this right here. And if you want to receive this, send us a DM or email us, and we will send this form to you, or just look for it on our website. Either way is fine. Okay, so what is TDEE? It's basically how your daily burn splits up. Exercise, activity, thermogenesis. Anyway, I'm gonna get that into it later, but they only focus on how many calories they burn when they work out. But there's a few other things you need to look at as well. And the biggest key here is the BMR, or the basal metabolic rate. And this is where, just to stay alive, you need it. Okay, you take about 60 to 70% of that. And with a BIA, bioelectrical impedance analysis, so many letters, I think they're called acronyms, right? So many letters in today's lesson, guys. Yeah, it's your lean body mass, it's your body size, it's your age, your sex, your hormones and genes. All right, so let's go through that quickly. Lean body mass, how much muscle you have, right? Body size, are you actually taller? Okay. Age, that makes a big difference as well, especially now that I'm in my 40s. And a few other things here. So some people might think, what's the difference? They might ask, what's the difference between BMR and RMR? So RMR, is resting metabolic rate, is measured under less strict conditions and runs slightly higher than true BMR. In everyday coaching, the terms are used almost interchangeably. And metabolic adaptation. So this is why diets plateau. Aggressive dieting lowers BMR more than weight loss alone would predict. The body becomes more efficient and burns less. This adaptive thermogenesis is the real mechanism behind stubborn diet plateaus, and it's why crash diets backfire. So that's the thing about our body. It gets so efficient at keeping us alive, right? When we're hunters and gatherers. And unfortunately, storing more fat meant we would survive the next famine. Being sedentary meant saving those calories, right? Eating as many as we can meant, we have more calories, more energy to keep and turn into fat, all right? But in this day and age, even with just a press of a button, food gets delivered to you. We don't need that anymore, right? So yeah. There you have it, BMR. Those are things playing there. Next would be TEF. All right, that's a thermic effect of food. As you can see here, just by eating protein, you actually burn between 20 to 30% of that, what you eat, okay? And then alcohol is about 10 to 15%, but that doesn't mean you can drink alcohol. It just means that basically alcohol is toxic to your body, so it just tries to burn it out right away. And then we have carbohydrates, which is between 5 to 10%, and then fat between 0 to 3%. Okay? So whole versus processed food. Basically, whole, fibrous, less processed foods carry a higher TEF than ultra-processed equivalents. One study found a whole food meal burned roughly twice the calories in digestion as a processed meal of equal calories. And the meal frequency myth. Eating 6 small meals versus 3 large ones does not change the total TEF. It scales with the total intake, not how often you eat. Same calories in same TEF. Okay? Okay, now we move on to NEAT, or in other words, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So these are things like walking, standing, climbing stairs, chores, carrying groceries, pacing, fidgeting, chewing gum, gesturing while you talk. So these are essentially things that you do throughout the day, all right? And you can burn between 15 to 30% of your energy because of that. So this is a really cool thing here is the wild card. NEAT can vary by hundreds, even up to about 2,000 calories per day between a very active person and a desk-bound one. It's the single biggest reason two people of the same size can have very different daily burns. So how active are you throughout the day? What can you do? Instead of taking this elevator, take the stairs. Right. Maybe if you have a standing desk, instead of sitting all day like I am on my standing desk right now, that would help as well. Now, this is the diet downshift where NEAT actually fights back. When you cut calories, the body unconsciously reduces NEAT. You fidget less, sit more, move slower. People often feel lazy in a deficit. That's NEAT downshifting to conserve energy, and it silently stalls fat loss. So as previously mentioned, unfortunately, that's how our body does because it's trying to keep us alive, it's trying to keep as many calories or burn as least calories as possible. Because that's how we were built, engineered hundreds of thousands of years ago when we couldn't store food, we didn't own a refrigerator, etc. Okay? So this is the easiest, most underused win. A step target like having 8 to 10,000 steps a day is easy. I can easily do that. Or taking a 10-minute break instead of just sitting there fidgeting on your phone, walk. Go for a quick walk. Or having walking meetings, right? Take the stairs, stand more. These add up to more than most clients' gym sessions with no recovery cost. No recovery cost, because that's what I feel nowadays. I need to recover longer. That's why I don't really drink anymore too, because definitely have to recover now that I'm in my early 40s. For desk-bound corporate teams, especially, raising NEAT often beats adding workouts. Okay? Now we'll move on to EAT, where a lot of people focus on with their smartwatch, right? And they think, good workout. Nah, that's only 5 to 15% of your TDEE. Okay? So EAT is essentially exercise, activity, thermogenesis. So the calories burned during intentional exercise, like lifting, running, cycling classes, etc. Okay? So your tracker says 600 calories at a 45-minute workout, but actually could be less. Okay? Wearables commonly over-report exercise burn by 20 to 50%. Yes, they can be very inaccurate depending what kind of wearables you have. You can't out-train a bad diet, okay? 45-minute workout might burn you 300 calories, but you can easily eat 1,000 calories in like 5-10 minutes, depending on what you're eating. You can even drink it if you want to, okay? Another thing is the afterburn. Excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. Woo! So many letters today, guys, so many. What does that mean? Intense training does raise burn slightly after a workout, but for most people, it's tens of calories, not the hundreds often advertised, okay? So don't think EPOC does a lot. And EAT's real value is indirect. So resistance training builds muscle, which raises BMR over time. So as mentioned in the first thing here, button, whatever you want to call it. Your lean body mass is the biggest factor for BMR, okay? So when you have more muscle, it raises your BMR over time. So the true metabolic payoff of training shows up in the largest component, not in the calories burned during the session itself, okay? So you need to train smarter, not just harder. And at HoliFit, that's what we do. Definitely data. You should use data as much as you can in order to achieve your fitness goals. If you want to learn more about this, guys, contact us today. Thanks for watching. I will see you at the next video.